Hello guys, welcome to Gustav's programming tutorials. In this tutorial, we will continue from our last lesson on decision making. In our previous lesson, we learned how to use the if and if-else statements, and I hope you have been practicing. And if this is your first time watching my videos, go to my channel, subscribe and watch the previous videos to keep up to date. So, let's get started with today's lesson. Within an if or an else clause, you can quote as many dependent statements as you need, including other if and else statements. Statements in which a decision is contained inside either the if or else clause of another decision are called nested if statements. Nested if statements are particularly useful when two or more conditions must be met before some action is taken. For example, let's try this basic app from our knowledge of if and else statements from the previous lesson. So, from our trial, we have to write an application that asks a user to enter an integer. We display a statement that indicates whether the integer is greater than 10. Now, pause the video and try your hands on it, and then let's continue from there. Now, let's see how we go about it. Let's add our import statement as our first step. So, on line 1, we add import java.util.scanner, semicolon. Now, in our main method, let's declare our variables and scanner objects. So, int a number, semicolon. Then on the next line, scanner key equals new scanner system.in, then semicolon. Now our prompt message, system.out.print, between quotations, enter a number greater than space, semicolon. Now let's retrieve our number. So we type a number equals key dot next int. We are using next int because we are retrieving an integer. Now for our decision statement, we type if, then between parentheses, a number greater than 10. Then we type our curly braces. Then between the curly braces, type system.out.println. Then between parentheses, a number plus quotation marks space is greater than 10. Then outside of parentheses, semicolon. Now on the next line, type else. Then the curly braces again. And between the curly braces, type system.out.println. Then repeat between the parentheses, a number plus quotation marks space is less than 10. We close it and then semicolon. Now let's run our program. In our output, our prompt is shown. Our prompt message is shown, enter a number. So we enter any number, say 5, and press enter. And we get the statement 5 is less than 10. Now, what if we wanted to print another statement if the number is less than 10 and it's an even or odd number? This is where the concepts of nested if and if-else statements come in. So, because our else statement prints the number is less than 10 output, we add our if else to this part. Now, inside the else clause, after the print line statements, we type if, then parentheses, a number modulo, that's a percentage sign, 2 double equals 0, close of parenthesis. Then we type our curly braces, and between the curly braces, system.out.println, open parenthesis, then a number plus quotation marks space is an even number. Then we close it and then semicolon. Now on the next line, else we type our curly braces, and between the curly braces, system.out.println, between parentheses, a number plus quotation space is an odd number, close quotation, and then semicolon. As we can see, there are indentations to show the level of each if and else clause. Remember, the compiler does not take indentation into account, but consistent indentation can help readers understand a program's logic. Now, let's run our program. Let's enter any number. I'll enter the number 14 and press enter and get the output 14 is greater than 10. Let's run the program again. Enter a number less than 10, say 4, and press enter and get the output 4 is less than 10. On the next line, 4 is an even number. Now, this is how to use the nested if and if else statements. Now, let's look at how to use the logical and or operators in Java. We can combine Boolean tests into a single expression called compound Boolean expression using the logical and or operators. The AND operator. For an alternative to some nested if statements, you can use the logical AND operator between two complete Boolean expressions. That is true when both of its operands are true. In Java, the AND operator is written as 2 ampersands. For example, let's comment out our nested if else clause together with the print line statement of the else clause. Now let's display whether the number greater than 10 is also even or odd. To do that, in the if clause, after a number greater than 10, type our double ampersand and then a number modulo 2 double equals 0. Now, after the output statement, type system.out.println quotation and type and space outside of the quotation plus a number plus then quotation is an even number. In our else clause, you type system.out a number plus quotation space is an odd number. Let's run this. We get our prompt message. Let's type our number as 11 and press enter. And our output is 11 is an odd number. What happens is the compiler tests whether the number entered is greater than 10 and also if a number modulo 2 is equal to 1. If both of the tests are true, then the print statement of the if is displayed, else the print line statement for the else is displayed. The OR operator. When you want some action to occur, even if only one of the two conditions is true, you can use nested if statement, or you can use the logical OR operator, which is written as double strokes. The logical OR operator is used to create a compound Boolean expression that is true when at least one of its operands is true. Again, with our example, let's change our ampersands to double strokes and change the end string to
or
and then run the application. Our prompt is displayed and we type the number
12
and then press enter. We get the output
12
is greater than 10.
or 12 is an even number.
So these are some of the ways to perform decisions with nested if statements, the AND, and then the OR operator. Thank you guys for watching this to the end, and I'll see you in the next tutorial where we will talk more about making decisions.